Hi, I'm Laura Sarchet. I'm the Inclusive Higher Education GA at the University of Rochester. We're in part 8 of our 9-part series on teaching self-advocacy skills, and we're talking about thinking about the future. You will leave this session taking away teaching activities to help your students increase advocacy in the classroom and in their daily lives, and you'll be able to identify one action step towards your own practice. So thinking about the future involves thinking about different paths and many steps towards each path. So the goal for students is that they will build awareness of the transition planning areas. And many of these areas they're already fully immersed in, especially if they're in college. These are areas that we can help them think about their future goals related to. So here are some domains of transition planning. And again, many students are already in the thick of these things, and we might want to help them think about where they want to see themselves in a certain amount of time related to this area. So school and education, your students are probably in college, and that's where they are right now. We want to think about where they want to be. Maybe post-college, if they want to do a master's degree, if they have other goals for the semester or for the school year. Work is another transition domain, or employment. Living, home, this could be a dorm, this could be a community setting, this could be an independent living setting or with family. Friends, family, community. Health is often one that we maybe forget about, but medical needs are really important, and that's a big transition process for students who are transitioning out of pediatrics into adult primary care or into other specialists that they might need to see. And then also thinking about insurance and, getting off family members' insurance and finding their own insurance and that kind of thing. Technology is an important transition domain. This can be a support and a hobby for many students. Other hobbies are really important to keep in mind. We want to keep at the center what our students care about. So that's important to encourage them in their hobbies. And then other life skills such as money, planning, time, scheduling, banking, and other life skills that are important for our students to start developing their own independence with. So thinking about these domains from the previous screen, I'd like you to picture yourself when you were your student's age. So if you're a college professor, think about when you were in college yourself, or in that 18 to 21-year-old range, or a little bit older. And what did you want your future to look like when you were an adult? What did you picture yourself doing in these areas when you thought about the age that you are now? So this is something we can do to help our students as well. So if we have our students think about where they want to be after college, we can kind of go backwards and look at the steps that they can get there with. And we'll talk more in depth about goal setting in our last session. But I just want to kind of get us thinking about that everything is not necessarily a linear process, but that it is a process that involves multiple steps, and it's not just setting that goal for where you want to be after college and then hoping that you get there. But there's things that you can do to break down steps for students. We always talk about breaking things down, scaffolding, and making things step by step. So we can think about which domain this is related to. So thinking about one domain at a time is often helpful. So if a student, for example, wants to have their own health insurance, then we can kind of work backwards. So what should they do this school year? They might want to apply by the end of the school year for their own health insurance through Medicare, Medicaid, that kind of thing. What should we do this semester? Maybe they need to reach out to a counselor to help them kind of get some ideas about how to apply. What should they do this week or this month? Maybe they need to do some research on insurance options. And then where are they now? Maybe they're on their parents' health insurance, and that's why, and they're turning 26 at the end of the year. So that's why they want to be working on getting their own health insurance. So, so this would be in the domain of life skills. So you can work forwards or backwards or both in thinking about these steps to a goal. And again, this explicit process of think aloud really helps us to kind of model for our students how we get places that we want. You can model this with your own planning practice, or, if you are writing a research proposal, you can model this to students and show them how you got there. And this is a great way to show students how we think about the future and how this is a process that we're constantly going through. So for our action step today, think about what domains are easier or more difficult for you to navigate. So think about those domains of community, friends, work, school, life skills, hobbies, technology, all of those that we talked about. Are there some that are easier for you to navigate, or you feel more comfortable or more settled in those? What about for your students? And you might want to think about individual students or about your students as a whole. But are there specific domains that might be a little more intuitive for them, or ones that they might need a little bit more support with? Ask a colleague to keep you accountable for being inclusive in your classroom. Have them audit your syllabus, have them come and do an observation and see how inclusive you are being in your classroom. Look at our other YouTube resources or other website resources. Reach out for professional development opportunities. And as always, you can reach out to me with any questions or other ideas that you're doing in your classroom. You can reach me at ihega@rochester.edu. Thank you.